And so we're live. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. So welcome everyone. Welcome. I see already we have some people viewing this live. Carl, welcome. Dr. Luis Gonzalez, thank you so much for joining. My name is Reverend Evelyn. I am the creator of Sacred Creative Soul Speaks, and I have a beautiful guest, Laurie Maves Art,
Oh, thank you.
on the show today, and we are going to talk about creative freedom. So welcome everyone. Come on in and
Welcome.
get comfortable, because we are going to talk about creativity and how it is innate, and how you can tap into your creativity, and that creativity isn't only artwork.
Amen.
So come on in. Camilla, welcome. Welcome, welcome. In a minute, I'm going to do a quick little breath work to get us grounded.
Oh, perfect.
And Shashin Shah, welcome. What a fun name to say.
Christine.
Hey, Ria, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. All
I
right.
love I
So,
love that you give people a minute to get in because
yeah,
sometimes I go like straight into it, but I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
really important.
yeah, yeah. And so then when everybody gets in, then they've missed the first,
Right.
they've missed the first section. So yeah. Oh, there's Tracy. Welcome, Tracy. And yeah. All right. So it is 2:00. So let's we got a nice number of people here. Let's honor the people who got here on time and get going. So I am going to lead us in a little bit of grounding and breath work to just sort of let us arrive in this spot, and then we're going to dive in. So let's just take a breath. I have my feet, I can get them firmly planted on the floor. And just taking a breath. Oh, hmm. And so I invite the presence of spirit, that ultimate creator that created everything that I see with my eyes, everything that I can smell, feel, taste, and touch. I invite that presence to be with us today, to rest, rule, and abide over our conversation, to inspire us and just uplift the energy and the vibration in this space. So I breathing in the goodness of all there is. Ah. And so I release this word into the law. I allow it to be so, and so it is. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So welcome everyone who's just coming in. And so I have Laurie Maves here. She is an artist and an art therapist. So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work you do and a little bit about your publication.
Sure. Thank you. And thanks so much for having me
You're welcome.
with you. It's a true pleasure and a real big honor for me. So my name's Laurie Maves, and I have a married last name, which is Guglielmi, but it's very difficult to say, so we just say Laurie Maves. And my business is Laurie Maves Art, and like you mentioned, a professional artist and I'm a master's level art therapist, and I've been doing um, a- any version of art to art therapy for 30 years almost now, and but as we were just talking about briefly before the beginning we came on, is that my big work, I think, right now is encouraging people who don't think they're artists to find their creativity, to get connected to their creativity. I help a lot of women who are middle-aged or retired, or they're empty nesters, and they're having this time that they have always wanted to do something creative, but they're
Hmm.
afraid to or they don't know how. So that's really what, besides, I mean, I make paintings and I do commissions and things like that, but I think that's the meat of what I really love doing right now. So, my publication is what is it? The evolving, um, the diaries of an evolving art therapist.
Mm.
So the sketchbook diaries. So I do a lot of work in a sketchbook, in a daily sketchbook, but I try not to have it be I mean, as far as the focuses of it, it's not the art of it that goes in the sketchbook or planning the sketchbook. It's more just a release of thoughts and feelings and helping manage emotions, and that's what I use it for, and I like to help other people discover that it's a really great tool. It's a super easy tool to get connected with, and you don't have to have experience as an artist to do that. So my publication talks about, sketchbook applications, how to get started in a sketchbook, and then, um I also do an interview series like this, and I call it
Mhm.
Creative Journeys, and I interview people, and I talk to them about their experience of creativity and the healing properties that they might have experienced, um, with creativity in their life, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be art making, it can be music, it could be dance, it could be writing, it could be cooking, it doesn't gardening. Well, however people express their creativity is a really it's the health of who we are, I believe. So I just help people get connected to that.
Beautiful. Can you speak a little bit to what I know what art therapy is? What I should say, I think I know what art therapy is.
Sure,
So if you could really um, clarify what, because people might have a different picture in their mind about what art therapy is.
sure,
So if you could sort of explain that and maybe your approach to art
sure,
therapy.
sure. Okay, this is how the way I like to explain, um, art therapy. I always see it as a gamut, so I always use my hands a lot when I talk, but I feel I see it as a spectrum as the creative act itself. The act of creating is therapeutic by nature.
Mhm,
2, so that it's process, super process oriented. To the other side of the spectrum
mhm,
is something is created, you have you end up with a product of some kind,
mhm.
and then you psychoanalyze that.
Okay.
So, um, that's how I was kind of presented with when I went to school. Again, this was 30 years ago or more. I'm sure some approaches have changed, but this is what I've always understood it, and this is how I practice. I've always practiced on this spectrum where the creative process is inherently therapeutic in itself. And
Mhm,
whatever the product comes out of it, you can use that tool as a really great tool. But to look at the product alone and not understand all of the process that was involved in it, I think you're missing many things. So, a lot of times people will look at a piece of art and say, "Oh, that's very frightening," or "This might mean this," or "This must
mhm,
mean that." I think our job as an art therapist is to ask questions about the product. But, if you just give people materials to sit down and be still with materials, um, that's the way I often practice, and that's what I've often promoted, and I still promote it to this day. I don't have as many necessary clinical clients. I do what
mhm.
some people call either expressive therapies or art therapy light, where I just encourage people to use the creative process as a way to express themselves without having to put words. I mean, you can put words on it, but you don't have to have words to explain yourself.
Yeah, I love that. The picture I have in my head of art therapy is like the child is presented with paper and crayon, and the therapist says, "Now, just draw." And the child draws something usually disturbing,
Sure.
and then you know, so that's sort of what I guess I have it somewhat right. Is that the product? I mean, the process is giving the child the crayons and the paper, and they're drawing from what's within them because sometimes children don't have the language to speak to what has happened to
Exactly.
them. And then
Exactly.
they show the art therapist this, artifact that they created, and then they
Right.
can sort of say, "Oh, okay, so we're getting an idea of what's going on in that child's head they can't communicate." And so even taken, like, as an adult, I would think that when you go I'm also a soul collage facilitator. I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah,
with
I
soul
know that.
collage? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So soul collage, one of the people in my cohort, in my training cohort, is an art therapist.
Yeah.
And she just shared amazing stories of breakthroughs that her clients have had. She's a psychiatrist and an art therapist. And
Sure.
sometimes in her psychiatry work, she brings a little bit of art therapy in and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah.
So she would share um just amazing stories of breakthroughs breakthroughs that happened um, when someone was exposed to the I guess I mentioned soul collage. What it is very quickly is a it's using collage images because our subconscious speaks to us in images. So the people who are in either a workshop or whatever, even a therapeutic session, you give them access to magazine images that they can clip out, and then they create a collage, and then you sort of interpret the collage.
Right.
Um, so yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk more about what part of my ministry, I guess, is the devotional aspects of creativity. Because I found, so when in 2020 during the, I call it the panini,
Sure.
oh, the pandemonium, um I, as you were talking about, like, some of the mid-age or retired people, I was presented with all this time. I mean, I was already working from home, so that wasn't new, but I couldn't go anywhere. So I had
Right.
all these art supplies that I never had time to use. So I pulled them all out and I started making art. And I found, and I've had this experience before because I first got into art when I was in college. And I would stand in front of the easel and I would do the dance. Like, I should go to the bathroom, but let me just finish this one little section. 30 minutes later, I'm still painting. Like,
Yeah.
so I would get like in this zone.
Down.
I know everybody knows about the zone. I
Yeah.
would be in the zone. And
Yeah.
I just sometimes I would be working on this little tiny corner of a painting and it would be almost literally transcendent. Like, I would just get,
Mhm.
and as I got older and in 2020, when I really got back into art again, I felt that feeling again. I was like, this is almost devotional. Cause, like, if we think of the creator as the ultimate creator,
Yep.
right?
Oh,
Um,
yep.
and we're, and my little self there with my brush creating,
Yep.
it was just magical. And so I knew that I would incorporate that into my ministry.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool,
yeah,
Evelyn. That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So what do you think about, or do you have any thoughts about the devotional aspects? And I don't mean religious,
Understood.
and it doesn't have to be devoted to anything outside of yourself. But what do you
Yeah.
think about sort of the transcendent aspects of
Yeah.
creativity?
Yeah. Super powerful. Super powerful. Um, that's another reason why I like to encourage people to be creative because they can have those moments where you lose time and you
Hmm.
lose space and you go into what I that zone, or is it, are you really in the present moment? Are you thoroughly, completely absorbed in your present moment?
Hmm.
And I've had moments in making paintings where hours have gone by and I've made painting that you just don't even know. You look up, you're like, "Oh my gosh," 2 hours later. I will do live feeds here where, I'm gonna do one after this,
Hmm.
where I'm gonna work on a painting, and I'll look up and, like, that an hour just went by and we just started. So, um, I think that's a beautiful thing that you're incorporating the creativity in with your ministry. I do think, I've had spiritual experiences. I haven't had a lot of them,
Hmm.
but I've had experiences where, um, I connect to higher source. I've connected to people that have passed. That
Hmm.
again, this has only happened a handful of times in like 30
Yep.
years of painting, but when they have happened, they are really very powerful
Yes.
and it's, again, it's whatever we get connected to. I totally resonate with what you say about the creator because there is something magical when you are creating something.
Hmm.
And even if it's super horrible or it's ugly or you're just completely totally enveloped and engrossed in it, it's this beautiful, healthy part of ourselves
Yeah.
that gets to shine and we get to get out of our head. That's the other really big thing I think that I always help
Yes.
people talk about is that if you can get in a zone and you get out of your editor and you just let you allow to be spoken what wants to be spoken through your art and you just be a vessel for it and just let it come out, then that even can become a much greater opening for your spiritual self, for your mental health, and a lot of times I'm just like, "I'm just a vehicle here," and I'll work on a painting, and I don't really necessarily even remember making it, I don't remember why I made the choices. A lot of times I'll run a time lapse because I get so invested in the process that I'm like, "I don't even know how I made those choices." I'm just really
Wow.
letting whatever, my brain, my intuition, my spirit, who knows? I don't
Mhm.
know what it is, but, it's it's one of those things, like, once you have that experience, it's like you want it again and you want it again, but it's like sitting down to meditate when you have a beautiful experience in meditation. I believe it's the same. They're really
It's yeah.
connected. Yeah.
Yep, I agree, I agree. That moment when you're like, "Oh my god, I finally got there," and then as soon as you say that, it makes you slip
Oh,
out of there, but,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Right,
I love that, I
right,
love that.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so I had a beautiful experience. I took a workshop well, I guess it was a class with I don't know if you're familiar with Shiloh Sophia?
Name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, she's, like a spiritual artist. She's with
Yeah.
the Healing Arts Collective in the Center for Intentional Creativity.
Okay.
Anyway, I was watching her work for years, and finally, I just felt really drawn to take one of her classes. And it's, not live, so you pay for it's a series of videos that are all some are lectures, some are very instructional, and
Mhm.
then you have, she has an app where you have contact with her through that. Anyway, none
Okay.
of that matters. What
Yeah.
I in the class, um, I painted a picture. This was the big one of the biggest canvases I ever painted on. I wanna say it barely fit in the backseat of my car.
That's
I
awesome.
think it was 40 inches. I think it was 30 by 42. I don't
Okay.
it was huge painting. But in the center of it was a woman. So, this was a very intuitive painting.
Mhm.
I watched the video and then I would do what she said, and I sort of slipped into that space, and I painted a woman, and then as I'm painting it, it's like, "Oh, the woman is pregnant." Okay, so I make the belly, and then I'm, painting that she's in front of this tree that and then there's the moon. Like you said, all these things were just, like, coming together,
Sure, sure.
and then I was like, um, on her belly, it started to become the earth, and so it's a profile view of a woman and her pregnant belly actually ends up being the earth, and then there's a tree and all these things. So I was working on this over a series of days, and at the same time in my life, I was having issues with my mother. And my in this in the co this was I would say I worked on this painting probably for about a week, and my mother called me. I hadn't spoken to my mother probably in I don't know how long, and she called me and she asked me a question that I had wanted to hear from her for a long
Wow.
time.
Wow.
And we had a series of conversations. But that conversation where she called and said, asked me about, some of the effects of her parenting on my childhood and my life experience. And I was
Okay.
like,
Okay. That's a huge question.
huge.
Yeah, for any parent, really.
That was almost a 3-hour conversation. And then we
Wow.
had another 2 conversations. And then it occurred to me, like, I feel like that painting opened up a portal, like working on that painting. Because also the day that I started the painting was October 7th, 2024, which was the day that war started in Israel when they
Israel, yep,
started bombing Gaza. Yeah.
yep.
So it was like, it was earth. I mean, not even exaggerating. It was earth shattering. And then later I was working with my tarot cards and I have the Light Seers deck. And the image for the Empress is a pregnant woman with the earth. And and I thought, "Oh, that was in my brain. That was in my
Wow.
subconscious mind." And I didn't
Sure,
even recognize it while I was painting it.
sure.
It's just like I saw her the round belly. I thought, "Oh, that's the earth." And I started painting that. And then it was just so for me, that's like those kind of experiences when we are able to allow our creativity to it's I feel like there was something within me, like maybe like ancestral or whatever, that was trying to come out, and it came out through my art. But cre- what I wanted to say, and I think we talked about this a little bit before we came on, was that creativity is not just limited to art. Is that you can be creative in many aspects of your life.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Um, that's interesting what you said about the portal thing, because that's happened to me a couple of times. But, do you know, I think you're familiar with Claudia Reynaud. She has a Papache art.
No,
Do you know her on
Claudia.
Substack? Claudia Reynard?
No, I'm gonna write
Okay,
that
so
down.
I'm gonna get you we're gonna get connected, but her
Okay.
Substack is, I feel like I pronounced it wrong. It's Apapache Art. And so she led a Green Tara meditation back in September. I
Hmm.
can't remember if what it was, a moon cycle or something.
Hmm.
So while she's leading it, I make this painting here,
Hmm. Oh,
okay?
wow.
So and I just was listening to her meditation. She did it
Hmm.
through Substack,
Yep.
and, that vision, so I'm just painting when I'm who knows? I'm just going to
Mhm.
town. And then her chanting and the meditation was over, was probably 30 minutes, maybe 45, and when she was done, because, in live, the people that are talking to us, we can't see them, but I sent her an image of that painting,
Mhm.
and she showed it to 2 other people that were in that meditation, and I'm laughing about it just because I get goosebumps and it's giggly, and I love it. 2 other people had a vision of that place. One
Nice.
was Megan, Dr. Megan,
Mhm.
and you might know her, and the other one was a woman in Portugal. So, the woman in Portugal, I sent that painting to Portugal for this woman, to receive, because we experienced the same
Mhm. Yep.
image. Now how is that? We're in 3 different parts of the planet.
Wild.
So I send it to her. It sits in customs for a month. They don't let her know, and then it's returned back to me, like, 2 months later. I mean, this painting went in its own weird portal,
Yep.
and now it's up here, and I'm, like, letting the creases come out, and so we'll have to figure out something else to do with it. But, something I'm with you, something happens.
Mhm.
That image of you that you created with the pregnant belly, I think you were tapping not only into the Empress, right, but something super universal
Yep.
about motherhood, and maybe even, I propose these things too, and some people are like, "Oh, she's really," and we don't know. Nobody can tell us if we're right or wrong about these thoughts and feelings
Exactly.
that we have. Right, but that wouldn't it be very interesting if the thoughts and feelings that you had, but that you were exercising them from your
Mhm.
mind,
Mhm.
and you put them on somewhere on a canvas that also spoke loudly to your mother, that she could hear it on some other level than just, you thinking about it. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, it's a super, and art and art making can be
Mhm.
so many things for so many people, and
Yep.
I'm glad we're in a time now where people can, um, get beyond, "Well, that's a painting and I don't understand it," or it's about going to a gallery and having to have some elitist understanding of what art is and what art isn't, and I tell people all the time, art's like a bottle of wine or like a tea. It's like, if you like it and you can get connected to it, that's all you really need to know, and if you
Yep.
don't like it and you don't connect to that, that's fine
Exactly.
too. You don't
Yep.
have to have some deep understanding about what this the painting is gonna speak to you in the way it speaks to you, and it doesn't speak to everybody in the same way. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So I want to take a minute and welcome Allison. Welcome, Allison, Reiki Master Allison.
yeah. I see
Catherine is
Kathy
here. Catherine
Kathy
Leon. Yep.
I work with Kathy a lot, and so I'm glad she was able to come on. Maybe she might have
Wonderful.
some questions.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, that story of that painting, that's amazing. How we can all sort of tap into something, and you guys tapped into something communal. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
yeah,
It's fascinating.
yeah. I
So,
mean, yeah. I mean, and it's funny, every time I would look at the painting that I made, um, and I think of that interaction with my mom, I was like, well, it's not, if you think about it, it's not really that surprising. I was painting the image of a woman with a pregnant womb, and my mother, I mean, do you know what I mean? It, it's not that far fetched. But it was,
And you hadn't talked
such,
to her for how long?
yeah, I know. It was such a healing exchange, and it allowed me to, oh, there's Abitha. Thank you so much for being here. It allowed me to let go of something that I had been clinging to. I had been clinging to
Yeah.
this need for her to take ownership of and apologize for several terribly traumatic experiences from my childhood.
Mhm.
And over the course of I'm going to say it was 5 hours of talking,
Okay.
three phone calls.
Yeah.
At the very, very bitter end of the third phone call, that still hadn't happened. And that's when I realized, oh, guess what? I don't need her to apologize to me for me to be free, right?
Exactly.
So that was the gift that
That's
painting gave
huge.
me, was that
Wow.
I could yeah, I could
I'm pulling a
release.
Margaret Williams here. This is
Yes,
Margaret Williams.
yes, I can release. I was able to release that I was white knuckle you know,
Mhm.
gripping to. I
Mhm.
just, wow, so much, there was so
Mhm.
much freedom in releasing that idea and that
Huge.
need. And so now when I speak to her, it's not it's not like
Yeah.
hanging in the background,
Yeah.
like, I don't have that need anymore. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in my 50s. How long did that take?
Right.
But, freedom is freedom. And so this is also why I tried, I mean, I haven't been successful at incorporating creative arts and stuff in my ministry, but that's like an intention that I have. This year I would love to figure out ways to marry the two. Um but yeah, it's very, very powerful, and
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um is there anything else you would like to bring into the conversation? Does anyone in the chat have any questions for Laurie? Thank you all for being here. Yeah. So do you have anything else you want to add, Laurie?
Yeah, I wanted to encourage people. There's a couple of things that I'd written down, like if there was
Mhm.
time to just talk about things. But
Yep.
if people would like to join in, and maybe this is something we change the time on, but Kathy Lyatt and I co-lead an expressive arts group on Wednesdays. Usually it happens
Okay.
Wednesday mornings, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Be Free Pathways.
Okay.
And it's a small group. It's usually a small handful of people. It could be bigger because we could support that, and it happens
Mhm.
through Zoom, so it's a private, it's a small, intimate group, and we start with a meditation, we start with a prompt, we work for 30, 40 minutes in our sketchbooks, and then we share through Zoom, and then, we'll see each other next week, and some people can join in, and actually anyone is welcome to join in to that. Um And no, again, it's not expressive. It's not therapy. I'm not
Yep.
your therapist,
Yep.
but it just gives us to work in community, in a small community, and to work on a prompt, center yourself for the day, do something creative in your book, can just be anything.
Mhm.
And so I'd like to offer that to your viewers
Okay.
and to my viewers to know. I know sometimes the time is difficult because it's 10 to again, it's a morning time, and so
Mhm.
for people who have jobs or whatever, it doesn't necessarily work for that. So maybe there will be a time in the future where, like, once a month, we can have it, in the evening,
Right.
or we could have it on a weekend, and maybe that's something too we could talk about, Evelyn, if there's somewhere we could do, like, a group where
Mhm.
bring your people in and bring my people in and do a Zoom
Yep.
call around that kind
Yep.
of thing. I wanted to just offer that invitation to people, and,
So can I get you to send me a private message with the name of the group and a link where people can sign up? And then
yes,
I can share it along with this video, because most people
absolutely.
will watch a live on replay, right? We have
Gotcha.
10 people in the room. I'm grateful for their presence here, but most people will watch the replay,
Yeah.
especially this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I'd love to share that link
I will
with the
send that to
video.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. Um, and the other is just kind of an open invitation to people if you are curious about starting a sketchbook practice or you don't know where to start. I help people that with like individual through Zoom calls, and that's something people can reach out and connect with me through Substack and just send me a message. Hey, Lori, I'm really interested in starting that. And usually I charge a fee for that, but, I work with people. So,
Mhm.
whatever people, if you can't afford to do it, usually I charge like $90 an hour, but if you can't afford it, don't, we figure that part out. Like
Yep.
it's more
And
important to me to get people started, to
yeah.
get people comfortable and to walk them through things to get them by their barriers about what's stopping them from getting started in the first place. Um,
Can you share a little bit from your art journal? I just saw a little
Sure.
bit.
Oh, yeah, like, so this is really I've got all kinds of stuff in here. So, this is funny because this started with my 2022 goals where you can see I had a number of these sketchbooks I just started and then I quit. And there could be a lot of people who buy sketchbooks. I talked to a good friend of mine, I'm also a yoga instructor and where I practice yoga. She said, "Lori, I have about 20 beautiful sketchbooks and journals, and they're on the shelf, and I've collected them, and I haven't opened a single one because she gets nervous and she doesn't know what to put in
That
them,
blank
so her
page.
sh just put up there. So,
That blank page. Yep.
this is something I do a lot. It's where I have, like, a watercolor background or something, I just put
Mhm.
these backgrounds in, and
Yep.
then I fill in the spaces. So, I call that encapsulation, and I
Nice.
talk about people do it. It's a really easy thing to do because
Yep.
all you do is put color down and then you put little
Yep.
shapes in. It's
Yep.
super meditative, but they're not all like that, so here's a collage, not a soul collage,
Yep. Yep.
but, for people who like collage, another collage, that was probably from a Be Free Pathways group, another
Mhm. Yep.
collage or like
Very nice.
I mean, look at some
Yep.
from like dark to, I did a whole, sometimes like this was a piece that came up from Be Free Pathways where I started writing first
Mhm.
and, you can write in there too, and then I put like embellished it later. It was more important for me to do the free write at the time. But I did, there was an ugly art series that I did, which I totally wish people would do more of. Where's my ugly art? Well, no, of course, now I can't find it, but, you know, flowers. I did something from
Lovely.
Klimt. It doesn't, I don't plan these. It's just where
Yep.
I sit down and whatever happens to come up that day, this is listen to your art. Sometimes I just write, but I try to keep it going because, again, I had a number of these. Oh, here's an ugly one. I did 30 days of ugly art and tried to
Mhm.
make, ugly faces as much as I could. But, it's just, I think, sitting down and you can give it as much time as you have, but if you
Mhm.
have, like, 5 minutes to sit down and just like I did a manic Monday the other day because it was Monday, and I was like, "Okay, here's another manic Monday," and I drew this really ugly there was a really ugly face under here, and I just kept drawing over it and over and over and came like this face of like, "Okay, it's Monday, let's get the week going."
Yep.
But,
I
but
love it.
I also did like a little sketchbook review. I think it's over in here or YouTube where I like review different kinds of sketchbooks, ones that show you like what's good if you want to work with dry media versus wet media,
Mhm.
so people can watch that and like I tell them like how you can spend $6 on this sketchbook or you can spend $8 on that sketchbook, but it's really kind of this thing I really want to help people get started doing without and like either helping them. I probably will do like a video about media so that you don't have to break your bank. You don't have you
Yeah.
just get some materials that are easy for you to use and then who cares what's in the sketchbook, but put something put
Yeah.
something in there.
I think shopping for art supplies can be so intimidating. You know, we had
Sure.
I had, there was an art supply store that I used to get my supplies, and I would walk in the door and I would just, like, catch my breath and
Mm,
just think, "Oh, like, where do I even get started?" Like,
yeah, yeah,
and the different grades is like student grade and,
yeah,
different
yeah,
grades of
yeah,
materials, and everything
yeah,
seems so expensive and so
yeah,
precious. choosing brushes, it can be
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, you gotta go
So
I go
maybe
to
you
go to the clearance rack and just
yeah.
get some stuff and just experiment. And here's like, and it's Kathy lied, I was talking about this today. I got these, like they're like gel pens, a set of
Mhm,
3. I found these at Aldi's. I don't know if you have Aldi's grocery store, but Aldi's
mhm.
is like a very, frugal grocery store,
Yep,
and then I found these for, like, $4 or something,
yep,
3 or $4. And that's the other thing, like, I think people just buy one kind of media and just practice, just play with that for, like, a
yep,
week or a month, and then when you feel like, "Oh, I could maybe add in something new, I'm ready to try something new," like, if you go out and buy a bunch of materials, I think that people, like, gets, like, exact 100% what you said, people get overwhelmed, "I don't know where to start, I don't know what to choose, and I don't wanna geez, I don't wanna wear any of these oil pastels down, they're so pretty in the box," and you just gotta they're there to be used.
yep. Absolutely, absolutely. So, also be sure to share your YouTube channel link
Yeah,
when you send information about
will
your
do. It's
your
just
art workshop.
yep, yep, it's
Yeah. So we've had
yeah,
Laura join us and Roger, even as we're just wrapping up. But
yeah,
yeah, so what I really wanted to communicate to people here with this session is that creativity is an innate part of who we are as human beings. And that just because you feel like you can't create a beautiful painting like Laurie has behind her that would hang on a museum wall, it doesn't mean you're not creative. And that I want to urge people, if you've received negative messaging about creativity in the past, like sometimes I don't think that teachers, like elementary school teachers, understand the power of what they say to little formative minds, little
yeah,
forming minds.
yeah,
I've had so many people say, "Oh, my teacher told me this, my teacher told me that." And it sticks with them. They're in their 40s and they're remembering what Mrs. Smith said in 3rd grade art class, right?
mhm,
So, if you can just forgive Mrs. Smith from 3rd
yeah,
grade art class and let
right,
that go, and
right,
just sort of invite yourself to step into, creativity in your life and just see how it will just help to enrich your life and, give you so much freedom and maybe even connection, to whatever is sort of the God of your understanding, if you even believe in a God. Some people
yeah,
I've been getting some interesting comments on my YouTube channel telling me that I'm ridiculous for thinking that there is a higher power. So that's another story for another day, but
sure, sure.
um yeah, so
I'm sorry, I did think of one other thing I wanted just to
okay.
mention really quickly. So
Yep.
there are people, I'm gonna try to get this off the ground this year, but if people are interested in doing like a creative retreat, I
Mm.
am leading a creative retreat to Sardinia, Italy this
Oh.
May 1st through May 10th. I can
Mhm.
send you that information too.
Yep. Yeah,
And I'm
oh, let me
co-leading
know.
with a woman who has a guest house in Sardinia who I met when I was there this past spring. So she and I are co-leading it together. And you don't have to be an artist to go, and you don't even have to have a creative practice to go. But if you are interested in maybe establishing one, it's a 10-day retreat. And we are going to be incorporating sketchbooking and journaling with some walking along the coast and doing some yoga and meditation
Oh, wow.
and a winery and olive oil. And so we're going to combine the beauty of the Sardinian West Coast with slow travel and creative practices, and there'll be stuff to do every day, but it's not like I'm not gonna be Julie from the Love Boat and you have to come to all these activities, but there's going to be creative enrichment and creative guidance every day. So I'm sorry, I just really wanted to put
No,
that
no, no,
plug in
don't
because,
apologize. Yeah,
and
that
that's
sounds idyllic. That sounds
yeah.
absolutely idyllic.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and it's a women's retreat, so we're doing it for women this first time, and if that gets off the ground, maybe it'll become like for couples or
Mhm.
a co-retreat, but this first time, it's just gonna be women's retreat, a woman's retreat. So,
Yeah.
that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, and I will send you those other
Yeah.
links, and I would really appreciate that. And again, anybody, please know that I am accessible. So if you don't know me and you're just meeting me for the first time in your channel or through this post, just reach out to me through Substack and then and say, "Hi, I have a question about this and that." Please bother me. I really, it's really important to me to share what I know with other people. while I have the ability to do that, and I say while just because we never know
Yeah,
what
you never
life
know.
throws our way. So and
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Evelyn, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, thank you for saying yes, and thank you to everyone who is here. And again, so look for the post that will come with a recording of this, and it will have all of the details about all that Laurie is up to and all her creative pursuits and her retreat and all that good stuff. So thank you so much, Laurie, for being here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye
Yeah.
bye.